Throw bread into boiling milk. You'll be shocked at what kind of dish you can whip up from this. Take regular bread and tear it into smaller pieces by hand. Then pour 1 liter of milk into a pot and cook it on low heat until it boils. Once the milk boils, add the bread. Cook the bread in the milk for about 3 minutes. Then, using tongs, remove the bread and place it in a bowl. The remaining milk in the pot won't be needed anymore. Let the bread cool slightly. In the meantime, prepare an egg mixture. Crack 3 eggs into a bowl and add some spices. Use a mixer to beat the eggs into a thick foam. Add this egg mixture to the bowl with the bread and mix again until you achieve a fairly smooth consistency. Then pour the mixture into a round buttered baking pan. Place it in the oven for 10 minutes at 200 degrees. After that time, take out the base and move on to the next step of the recipe. Spread tomato sauce over the base, then add grated cheese. The next ingredient is salami. Lay the salami slices over the cheese. You can also add your favorite vegetables. I used corn, mushrooms, and bell peppers. Place the dish back in the oven for about 7 minutes. After that time, take it out and serve it as pizza. It tastes perfect, and you'll definitely make it again. Here is a tried-and-true recipe for a nutritious dinner. Start by cutting toast bread into small cubes, just as you usually do for croutons. Don't throw away the crusts. Instead, cut them into smaller pieces. Next, put them in a jar with milk and leave them for a while. Meanwhile, place the chopped bread on a baking sheet and put it in a preheated oven at 100 degrees Celsius. Bake it for about 10 minutes until it is crispy. Now, prepare the meat. Take 300 grams of chicken breast and cut it into smaller pieces. Cut 1 onion into 4 parts. Add the onion and chicken breast to a food processor or blender. After a moment, add the milk-soaked crusts. Transfer the blender's contents to a bowl. Add salt and pepper to taste. To improve the consistency, add 2 egg yolks. Mix everything well. The next step is forming the cutlets. Prepare a bowl of ice-cold water. On another tray, place the pre-toasted bread and the meat mixture. Wet your hands in the water and take a bit of the meat mixture. Shape the meat into an oval shape. Then coat it in the bread. Turn it over so that the cutlet is covered on both sides. Heat a pan over medium heat with a little oil. When it is ready, place the cutlets one by one and fry until they are golden on each side. Remove them and place them on a paper towel for a few minutes to get rid of the excess fat. You will be amazed at how tasty they are and how quickly they can be prepared. Pożarski cutlets are nothing more than ground chicken cutlets, but made a bit differently. They have been a staple in our home for years, and the whole family enjoys them. Fry a chicken in water, and you won't fry it any other way ever. The trick with water will make it crispy and juicy. It's hard to believe, but if you put chicken directly into oil, it often turns dry and rubbery. And on top of that, while frying, you have everything around the pot or pan splashed with grease. There's a better way to fry it. Use some water, and you won't have any more mess. You will see how it makes the crispiest chicken ever, thanks to a bit of water. Yes, just plain water. Get 1 kilo of chicken wings. Cut off the tips. We will use the wings drumsticks only. Prepare your favorite seasonings for the chicken that you like, such as salt, bell pepper, paprika, turmeric, or curry. Add them to the chicken and mix. Sprinkle the lime over the meat with the spices. In another bowl, scoop 1 cup of corn flour. Add half a cup of plain flour to it. Put a pinch of salt and mix the ingredients. Set the bowl and a dish of water by the pan. Take a piece of chicken, coat it in flour, thoroughly the whole piece, then dip it briefly in the water. Wait until it drips and put it right into the heated oil. Let's do it again. I will show you this with another piece. It must be thoroughly coated in flour, then dip it very briefly in water. And when it no longer drips water, put it on the heated fat. You will be surprised. The fat will not splash if you do it correctly. See, I hold my hand over the pan and nothing splashes. After a while, the chicken is fried. It looks extremely appetizing, tasty, It is extremely crispy and very juicy. Try this recipe the next time you want to fry chicken drumsticks or wings. You certainly won't regret it. Delicious chicken fillets in soy sauce. My family asks for them every day, and everyone who tries them asks for more. You need 4 chicken fillets. Cut them diagonally, all the same way, only on one side. Cut 2 red onions in half and chop them. Slice 2 larger tomatoes. Pour 2 tablespoons of olive oil and half a cup of soy sauce into a large dish. Add a pinch of salt, a bit of pepper, oregano, and basil to taste. Remember that soy sauce is already salty, so you don't need too much salt. Add a tablespoon of brown sugar and squeeze 2 cloves of garlic through a press. You can add more garlic if you like. Marinate the chicken breasts in the mixture. Soak them on each side. Wrap in foil and let it sit for half an hour. Sprinkle onions on the bottom of a baking dish. Arrange tomato slices on top. Place the chicken fillets on them. Arrange them side by side. Pour the remaining marinade over them. Put it in a preheated oven at 180 degrees for 30 minutes. After this time, take it out and sprinkle the top with grated yellow cheese. Put it back in the oven, bake until the cheese melts and browns. You can serve the finished dish to guests. It looks amazing and tastes excellent. You can place a single fillet on a plate and savor its original taste. Everyone is surprised by this simple dish and asks for the recipe.
Pork skewers with potatoes are a version for enthusiasts of both skewers and pork. Have you ever tried making pork skewers? Prepare about 1 kilogram of boneless pork shoulder. Cut it into pieces about 1 centimeter thick. Spread all the pieces on a cutting board and cover with plastic wrap. Take a meat mallet and gently pound all the prepared cutlets. Remove the wrap and season the meat with salt and pepper on both sides. Take 2 large potatoes and cut them into slices of medium thickness. Transfer them to a bowl. Sprinkle with salt and pepper to taste. Season with a teaspoon of sweet red paprika. Pour 2 tablespoons of vegetable oil and gently mix the potatoes. Take 2 skewers for the skewers. On the cutting board, place 2 slices of potatoes next to each other. Pierce them with the skewers. 1 skewer for 1 slice of potato. Now take the first piece of meat and place it on the skewers. Press it against the potatoes. Now take 2 onion rings and place them on the meat. Place bacon on the onion. Now create a layer with potatoes and then add meat, onion, and bacon sequentially. Arrange the skewer's ingredients in alternating layers. When the skewer is too large, you can lay it on the cutting board and finish adding more layers. When all the layers are ready, the skewer will look like this. All the layers are visible. Now prepare aluminum foil and moistened baking paper. Moist paper is more flexible and makes it easier to wrap the meat and shape it for the baking sheet. Place the skewer on the paper, wrap it, and pack it tightly in foil. Transfer the skewer to an oven-proof dish and bake in an oven preheated to 200 degrees Celsius for 1 hour. In the meantime, prepare a marinade with 2 tablespoons of soy sauce, 1 tablespoon of ketchup, a small teaspoon of French mustard, and 2 teaspoons of honey. Mix the marinade. After an hour of baking the meat, remove it and unwrap it from the foil and paper. Brush the marinade with a brush. Do this on the entire surface. Put the skewer back in the oven for about 15 to 20 minutes until it turns golden brown. After baking, remove the skewer and transfer it to a plate. It looks juicy and delicious. Cut it in half lengthwise. Such a skewer is a perfect idea for a tasty dinner or an unusual supper.